Well, hello. This is Rochelle and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a quick process using a rice paper print that is done by Selah Art, and this is a part of her Women of the Bible for Women's Month, and specifically Hannah's promise or Hannah's prayer that I'm journaling here. I have all the rice paper, so you don't have to use the girl that she used with that specific one. You can use whatever, but I really did like this girl with this prayer. So I just cut off the rice paper using, or the specific fibrous paper. I don't know what it is. It's probably not rice paper necessarily, but I cut that. Instead of cutting it with a scissor, I used a wet paintbrush, just wet it and then tore it. It just makes the tearing easier. And then I'm applying the Creative Talents Clear Primer. It works just as well as a gel medium or something else. Any liquid kind of glue or media glue will work with this, and I'm just making sure that it seeps through the paper everywhere and that it's on the front and the back of the or on the back of the paper, and so that the two sides that are going to touch from the rice paper and my journal both have glue on. Okay, so then once that is good and dry, which I'm speeding it up using a heat tool, I am just making sure that it's dry everywhere before I work with anything else over it, like pens or whatever, because it will react differently. I'm not necessarily saying you would ruin your pens or anything like that, but it's always better to work on a completely dry surface unless the technique or the effect that you want is something that you need a wet surface for. I'm going to be using this Room 5 graphics stencil, which is just numbers and a few words, and I'm going to be stenciling with gelatos, so I'm just scribbling my gelato onto a non-stick surface. I actually couldn't find the one that I wanted. I wanted the satellite, but couldn't find that, so I'm just going to use this boysenberry one. Same thing, not the end of the world, just one kind of some stenciling in the background. So this all helps to make your page look more cohesive and not like it is something stuck down on a page that is kind of floating in the air, especially if you're using something like rice paper or a transparent paper like this. It works really well to just kind of blend in or become part of the page, like this was originally the way it was supposed to be. You can then add, and I think in hindsight I should have added some white gesso dots, but I had this copper kind of texture paste, crackle paste by Art Basics, and so really wanted to use that, and the colors match beautifully in like person, but it does look a little bit dull on camera, but it's actually really pretty, and I enjoyed using it like I did there, through a stencil as well, just applying it with a paint card or an old credit card or any card that you have. So you want the flexibility of it so that you can get that medium through the stencil. If we read 2 Samuel and you read all about Hannah's prayer, she really did go to God as vulnerable as it could be, and God honors when we trust Him with the process. So I love that she came to God in a completely vulnerable state, declaring her dependency on God, that if God doesn't do the miracle, then there isn't a miracle to be done. And that really touched my heart, in that so oftentimes we try and make kind of the plan on our own, and we want to make it happen on our own, because either we're impatient with God's timing or we're not seeing the result we think we need to see, and so often it's not that we need to see that outcome, we need to see God's outcome, and we don't. So definitely learning a lot from this 2 Samuel scripture, and Adele from Selah Art has included a little short devotional and explanation and more info for you. And I really love that about these kits, is that they are full of substance. They're not just pretty, they're not just, you know, stuff to use for artwork. They really are something that is usable and useful. So I am writing my scripture reference in here. Sorry, it's 1 Samuel 2, not 2 Samuel, 1 Samuel 2. And I feel like my copper has made my letters kind of disappear, so I'm just kind of outlining it with a Faber-Castell pen, again working on it when it's dry, because yes, these pens are awesome, but you don't want to mess them up with a wet soggy medium. So yes, just outlining that. I want to say thank you to these girls that are making these gorgeous things that we can work with. That if you're not artsy like me and you just really want to spend some time in the Word and be creative, that they've made a way or made it possible for you at a cost-effective rate, at something that you can get into really quickly. And so thank you so much, Adele. This is a gorgeous set of printables. Hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye.